The scene shifts to a super luxurious building, the meeting spot for all the strategy teams. Questions filled the air. How'd your team's last game go? Dude, don't even ask. We lost 3 people. The games are getting harder. What? So you're saying the game interface update was a deal your Echo Review team's Truc cut with the system? Did I hear that right? Dong-hook sighed. Yeah, you could say that. Putting other things aside, just getting a team chat system is a huge win. The ones who really benefit from this are players like us. This guy is the leader of the Fa Hio strategy team, Lin Kwok-dong. Even better, if the game is willing to negotiate, we can seize this chance for even more benefits for players down the line. Dong-hook, I've got to say, your team's Truc is way more flexible in his thinking than we are. He's even got experience dealing with NPCs and the game itself. If you get the chance, tell Truc to push for even more conditions. Dong-hook scoffed. You old geezer, if you've got these bright ideas, why don't you do it yourself? Whoa there, buddy. Old-timers like us? We're old. Our teeth are falling out. Beards are growing long. Our minds aren't as sharp anymore. We should leave the stage to the younger generation. But Truc is different. He's young. He's got a huge advantage, man. Dong-hook was still pissed. Just because he's young, he has to take the risk? What if the game gets annoyed and just kills him? Are you going to take responsibility for that? The middle-aged Lin Kwok-dong spoke up again. The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. If Truc has the ability, it's an honor for him to secure some benefits for the players. Dong-hook, you're being way too conservative. Suddenly, Truc Van kicked the table he was at, shattering the glass top and making old Kwok-dong jump out of his skin. Truc Van spoke up. Oops, my bad. My leg fell asleep from sitting so long, just a reflex. Hey, old man, what were you just saying? I couldn't quite hear you. Mind repeating that? I didn't say anything. Just that you young folks are the future of humanity, so you need to be careful. Play the game conservatively, you know? A moment later, team leader Dong-hook's curses echoed. Damn it. That old bastard Lin Kwok-dong has no shame. He specializes in grouping with newbies to lower his average score. He just wants to get carried. If a tough stage comes up, he uses the new players as cannon fodder. His whole Fa Hio strategy team is full of leeches. Truc Van scoffed. Points are points, even if they increase slowly. He'll get what's coming to him sooner or later. Dong-hook asked Truc Van, you're about to hit 10,000 points, right? Every 10,000 points is a connection point. After hitting one, a player's physical stats get a decent boost. Things like memory, thinking, eyesight, and reflexes all get a major upgrade. Truc Van chimed in, you're curious about what a guy who can shatter a table with one kick will become after passing a few connection points, right? To be honest, I'm pretty curious myself. Oh, right, I'm planning to form my own team. Hearing that, Dong-hook, who was driving, slammed on the brakes. What? You're planning to leave Echo to start your own team? Not exactly, it's more like a squad. It'll still officially be under the Echo Review team's name. Hearing that, Dong-hook finally nodded. Okay, that's fine then. Want me to introduce you to some reliable people? Truc Van refused. I'll take my time and choose them myself. I'm not looking for a point farming team. I want a team that can clear stages at top speed. Well, suit yourself. What the hell is going on in you kids' heads these days? Who knows? Maybe you're just too old to get it. Meanwhile, online forums were already buzzing with posts. Player 1. Heard Echo's Truc Van got into it with Lin Kwok-dong, smashed his coffee table with one kick. Player 2. I heard Lin Kwok-dong started it with Truc Van first. Ended up getting kicked into a wall and almost died. After reading this, Konin was extremely worried. Truc Van, should I ask my dad to hire you a top-tier lawyer? I promise you won't have to go to jail. Truc Van didn't even bother to answer. Konin just kept peeling potatoes. Jiang Lin said, I gave the team-up item to Little Ko. Is that okay? What if he ends up on the same stage as you? Truc Van replied while peeling a potato. That won't happen. The item differentiates between players' scores. Little Ko and his childhood friend have an average of about 5,000 points. Even with low-point players on my team, our average is still around 9,000. Jiang Lin looked at the horribly mangled potato Truc Van was peeling and sighed. All right, fine. Whatever the case, you need to be careful. Watch out for the game, and watch out for the Fa Hio strategy team. They might try to screw you over. Suddenly, Truc Van clasped his hands in prayer. Oh, holy Buddha in the heavens, your disciple is willing to go vegetarian for a week. In exchange, please let me run into the Fa Hio team in the game so I can go all out against them. Jiang Lin was speechless. The more you tell this guy not to do something, the more he wants to do it. A week passed by in a flash. Truc Van was once again teleported into the game world. What kind of instance will it be this time? Before Truc Van could even do anything, someone runs up. Hey, is that you, Truc Van? We meet again. Small world, huh? Why didn't you call me? It takes Truc Van a moment to remember. Ah, this is that guy Ho Kong from the Hako O Na unboxing qualifier stage. And there was another old acquaintance, the albino girl, Li Shuang. She speaks up. Logically, you and I shouldn't have been matched together. If that's the case, then this must be the reason. The knife you gave me in the last instance. Truc Van doesn't waste words, just holds out his hand for the knife. Dude, you've borrowed it long enough. Li Shuang is shocked he'd ask for it back so bluntly, but what can she do but return it? Besides, they weren't the only familiar faces. Truc Van can't believe it that kid Ko Nin popped up out of nowhere too, and Ko Nin's face is totally blank. How did I get teamed up with brother Truc Van? Why, oh why? Truc Van walks right up to the girl with Ko Nin. Looks like this is his childhood friend, huh? Alright then, let me see your score. But it seems the girl has no intention of showing Truc Van her accumulated points. He just scoffs. If you don't show your score screen, no one can see it unless they check the leaderboards. Forget it, not worth the trouble. Bottom line, for Ko Nin to be here, his childhood friend must have at least 14,000 accumulated points. Why would she lie to Ko Nin, telling him she was new to the game? Ko Nin still can't wrap his head around it. Hua Man. She told me she had around 4,300 points, and I have 4,800. How could we get matched with brother Truc Van, who has 10,000 points? Oh well, brother Truc Van, you gotta save me this round, okay? Our lives are in your hands. Truc Van scoffs. I told you to be careful about everything. Even other players are full of shady people trying to screw you over. Ko Nin, practically hugging Truc Van's leg, nods furiously in agreement. Sure, it sounds like he gets it, but words without thought just go in one ear and out the other. Just then, that Hua Man girl speaks for the first time. Good evening, everyone. I hope you'll all help me out. She never expected that this Truc Van and Ko Nin already knew each other. This is going to be tricky. Ko Nin introduces him. This is brother Truc Van. He's my super awesome brother from another mother. Ho Kang chimes in, and next to me is my great teammate, Du Nhai. Du as in city, Nhai as in horizon. Truc Van also gives a simple introduction. Just 2 words, Truc Van. Du Nhai says, I know you, Truc Van. A few days ago, Ol Ho was nervously waiting for your call. He's not even this worked up when he's dating someone. Hearing the word dating, Truc Van gets goosebumps all over. Dating? Don't tell me I've run into some weirdo who's into guys? Well then, welcome all players to the amusement park. This stage has no pre-disclosed plot summary. Players must investigate on their own. The average player score for this stage is 10,082 points. Game duration is 240 hours. Total number of participants, 6. The game will begin in a few seconds. We wish you all a pleasant gaming experience. Du Nhai says, no pre-disclosed plot? Then this must be a scenario stage. Scenario stages require players to piece together the full script themselves, then use it to find the core item to clear the stage. Basically, find the right key for the right door, and we can get out. Is that right, brother Truc Van? Ko Nin's explanation is met with a knock on the head from Truc Van. You're just good at spreading stupidity, Ho Kong says to the group. Let's split up and look for clues nearby. This whole area seems empty. Ko Nin keeps telling Truc Van, brother Truc Van, don't worry, I'll only be stupid this one time. I definitely won't drag you down. Truc Van is still pissed. When you get out, you can report to the team leader and explain this yourself. Li Shuang spots a suspicious car not far ahead of them. It seems this Li Shuang has incredibly good eyesight. She can clearly see the car from 100 meters away. Truc Van thought it was just a sign. The car's unlocked, and there's no one inside. It's spotless, inside and out, which means it hasn't been parked here for long. Not to mention, the engine is still pretty warm. Let's look for the key. This car could be a plot point for us players, or it could belong to an NPC. Either way, if we find the key, it's ours. Suddenly, an old man appears out of nowhere, yelling, "You damn kids, driving this car out here in the middle of the night, running around and making ghost noises for hours. Are you done yet? If you're done, then get lost." Truc Van has no idea who the old man is yelling at. They haven't made any loud noises at all. So, that running around making ghost noises must be part of the game's plot, something the characters they're playing as have already done. Ho Kong runs up to the old man. "Sir, we'll be leaving shortly. But man, why does this place look so creepy? It's full of tombstones, and there are ghost sounds too." The old man snorts. "Do you even know how to talk, kid? I've been guarding this cemetery for 172 years and haven't seen a single ghost." 172 years? Konin and Huaman were stunned. So what are you? An immortal zombie? Truc chimed in. Most old people avoid places like this. Aren't you afraid you'll get dragged down below? The old man scoffed. Afraid of what? This old man is hard to kill. Hearing that, Truc slowly pulled out a knife behind his back. Oh, really? So you've got a lot of lives to spare, do you? Then Truc rushed forward, pressing the knife against the old man's neck. Talk. Where were we just now? Donyai's jaw dropped. He thought they were supposed to follow the plot and find clues on their own. Who knew you could just threaten an NPC to get information? The old man, completely terrified by Truc started to panic. Didn't you say you went to the worship site yourselves? Truc hauled the old man up by his collar. Worship who? How do we do it? What are the rules? The scared old man stammered. I don't know. I really don't know about that. Truc scoffed. So you're determined not to talk? Huh. In that case, we just won't do the ritual. Wait, for real? This is a risky move. Is Truc just going to keep threatening the NPC until he breaks? According to Li Xiong, this game is anything but simple. Starting in a cemetery means this setting wasn't created just for show. Sooner or later, a major event is bound to happen here. The total time limit for this game is 240 hours. That means we definitely need a base of operations. And obviously, we can't stay in this cemetery, so it has to be somewhere else. But there aren't any other buildings around here. That means there have to be other areas for us to discover. This old guy says, I don't know to everything. Best case, he gives us a few minor clues that were already revealed. So we might as well make it quick and just accidentally kill him. Hearing that, the old man became even more terrified. Ah, wait, I suddenly remember something now. You guys said you lost some items after finishing the ritual, didn't you? No one has visited this place in ages, except for you guys who came to that one tombstone. It was the one in the third row, the seventh from the left. All right, we've got a lead. Truc announced to the group. Let's go check out that tombstone. Donyai's jaw was still on the floor. You can actually play the game like this? He thought. But Ho Kong was a different story. I got used to his methods a long time ago. You'll get the hang of it, he said. Soon, the group arrived at the location the old man described. There, they saw 2 half-burnt candles, a plate with 3 apples, and a keyring holding 3 keys, which looked like room keys. Additionally, Truc noticed a group photo on the ground. It was a picture of all 6 of them together. Could these be the lost items the old man was talking about? Let's not grab anything just yet, Truc warned. That NPC said skipping the ritual is a major taboo. But all we know is who to worship, not the specific rules or local customs. We'll have to skip this step for now. First, let's find the car key. We need to look for the key with the same logo as the car out front. Once we get the key, we'll go start the car. Let's be quick about it. If any trouble starts, we make a run for it. Ho Kong cheerfully told Donyai. See? Told you. That kid Truc isn't as reckless as he seems. He calculates everything he does. That's exactly why I want to pull him into our group. Donyai shook his head. Let's just focus on finding the car key for now. I don't think you'll be able to get him on our side. Moments later, it was Donyai who found the key with the logo, matching the car parked outside. Truc gave him the task of driving the car over. Meanwhile, Truc stared at the set of room keys and wondered to himself, should I actually take this keyring or not? Alright, let's do it. I've got an idea. Everyone, back up a little. Get all the way out of this cemetery. Without asking questions, the others immediately backed out of the graveyard, leaving Truc all alone inside. Oh, looks like Huaman left too. No wonder she's able to survive these segments. Her danger sense is incredibly sharp. Once everyone was clear of the cemetery, Truc bent down and picked up the key ring. He immediately scanned his surroundings. Looks like nothing was triggered. The key ring had 3 numbers on it, 402, 405, and 406. They seemed to be room keys for a specific area. Truc guessed their role in this game was probably a group of college students, and this key ring must be for their dorm rooms. Just then, a zombie clawed its way out of a grave right in front of him. Truc thought to himself, and here I thought nothing was going to happen. Guess I still triggered some of these disgusting things after all. The zombie glared at Truc and growled, all of you will die with me. Before it could finish its sentence, its head popped right off. It rolled to a stop right in front of Truc and yet, it kept talking. Your sins are unforgivable. I want you all to. Okay, chill out. Your head literally fell off and you're still running your mouth? Have you lost your mind? Oh, wait, you actually have. Asterisk, rumble, asterisk. It wasn't just the one zombie. Suddenly, dozens of them clawed their way out of the ground, surrounding Truc. Watching from afar, Ko Nin was super worried. Who the hell still gets buried in the ground these days? Brother Truc is still in there alone. Ko Nin was about to rush in, but Li Xiong was already a step ahead, charging forward to back Truc up. Truc leaped into the fray. Let's try touching a zombie first. Whoa, I can still store it in my inventory space just like before. Now this is getting interesting. Truc then proceeded to suck dozens of zombies into his inventory until it was completely full. Only then did he start to fight. With a single slash, a zombie's head went flying, but the second one got kicked away by Li Xiong. Truc thought to himself, I didn't really need help, but oh well. He still thanked Li Xiong. Since you're here, let's take them on together. You watch my back, and I'll handle the front. Just like that, the two of them fought in perfect sync. Not a single zombie could escape their coordinated attack. Ko Nin rushed forward. Truc, let me help you. Hokong didn't want to stand by either and jumped in to help. Hua Man commented from the back. Why are all the players in this stage scarier than the actual monsters? The viewers were commenting, if I were the game itself, I'd be furious. Laugh my ass off. Why is it so satisfying to watch the game get completely owned by the players? Soon, all the zombies were dealt with by Truc and Li Xiong. Only the head of this one zombie couldn't be stored in the inventory. It must be special, Ko Nin said. Maybe it's because it's still considered alive that you can't store it? Last time, when I stored the Hakona in my inventory, the game immediately released a patch. Basically, it introduced a restriction. Key game components can't be stored in the inventory. The other zombies could be stored, which means this head is related to the plot. It's a critical game component for this stage. Ko Nin chimed in. So, Truc, you're saying this thing is either a key plot item or the hidden NPC, right? Ho Kang spoke up. I was already blown away when you collected the Hakona. After the game patched it, I figured you were out of options. I never thought you could still use the process of elimination to exploit this loophole for deductions. As he tied up the zombie head, Truc said, that's why I think the game would have been better off just leaving the old loophole alone. The group carried the zombie's head and body over to the car, where Donyai was waiting. Once everyone was in the car, they set off. According to Truc, their next stop was the university to check things out. Everyone, see if there's a map in this car. Hua Man immediately volunteered, determined not to be ostracized by the group. She had to prove her worth. Found it. According to this map, the university is to the southeast. While driving, Donyai suddenly heard a knocking sound. Huh? We're driving on a road, aren't we? How could he hear knocking? Then came a shout. Hey, room 404. What the hell are you guys doing making so much noise at this hour? You want me to come in there and bust you up? Wait, that's not the Game Master's voice. Suddenly, the scenery outside and the car they were in began to dissolve. In the blink of an eye, the whole group found themselves inside a dorm room. Was everything we just experienced at the graveyard an illusion? Suddenly, Truc noticed a strange Ouija board at his feet. The shouting continued from outside. Damn it, room 404. You guys just wait. I'll deal with you in class tomorrow. Ko Nin, terrified, thought it was a ghost. Truc sighed. Have you ever seen a ghost that politely knocks before cussing someone out? It's probably just a story NPC. Li Xiong looked at a schedule in the room. Tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. we have a law class. Truc thought to himself, the words on that paper are tiny. Aren't people with albinism supposed to have weaker eyesight than normal? How can this Li Xiong's vision be so sharp? Truc went outside and told the group, let's go check what that bunch of keys we found earlier can do. It looks like this really is a school dormitory. The rooms were already assigned. Room 404 is for Truc and Li Xiong. Room 402 is for Hua Man and Hokong. Room 405 is for Ko Nin and Donyai. Ko Nin wondered. Aren't dorms usually separated by gender? Why are we paired up like this? And how come Truc and Hokang get to room with girls, while I'm stuck with this loser Donyai? Life is so unfair. Truc walked up to room 403, which was located right between the other players' rooms. He took a look. The layer of dust was thin. The plaque must have been put up recently. From behind, Li Xiong reminded him of something. It's getting late, and we have that early class tomorrow at 8:30. Donyai also stepped into his room and added, everyone, head to your own rooms. We have to follow the game's pairings. Breaking the rules could trigger a death condition. We shouldn't risk it unless we have to. The time was now 12:15 a.m. In Hokong's room, he slept on the floor while Hua Man took the bed. In Ko Nin's room, he was too traumatized by something to sleep. As for Truc Van's room, they both decided to sleep on the bed together. And then well, let's just skip that part. At 7 a.m. the next day, Ho Kang asked Truc Van, "You're up early, Truc Van? Looks like you had a good night's sleep, huh?" Just then, Ko Nin walked out of his room and runs out to hug Truc Van. "Wah, Truc Van. Turns out last night wasn't me sleeping with a dude, it was Dunyai. Before, we all thought she was a guy, but she's actually a girl. Back in the lower levels, everyone was way too overprotective just because I'm a girl. I had no choice, so I wore a chest binder and started faking a guy's voice. If that's the case, it means one thing. The dorms here are assigned as male-female pairs. Huh? I'm guessing room 403 has someone in it, probably related to the games. Plot. Soon, the group of 6 players arrived at the classroom. But why were all the other students giving them such weird looks? Did they do something wrong? A guy immediately walks over to start trouble with Truc Van's group. Damn it. You guys have a death wish, don't you? We haven't even settled up for last night, and now you dare to steal our seats? The teacher slams his desk and shouts, "Everyone, be quiet. Class has started. Settle down." Now, the bullies left angrily, not forgetting to leave a parting shot. "You guys just wait. We'll settle old scores and new debts all at once. See, everyone? We don't even have to use our brains. The plot clues are coming right to us." So who were those 3 guys? Were they supposed to be school bullies? Acting like a bunch of punks when they're already in college is just pathetic. Suddenly, Truc Van speaks to a purple-haired guy in front of him. "Hey buddy, can I borrow a pen? I'll give it back after class." The guy scoffs. "Don't have one, and even if I did, I wouldn't lend it to you." Ko Nin wondered, why did Truc Van suddenly ask to borrow a pen? "I'm just testing a theory. It seems our characters have a problem. Everyone else here really hates us. In other words, in this scenario, our characters did something wrong to get isolated by the entire class." Truc Van asks Li Shuang next to him, "We have a full morning of classes, so what time do we get out in the afternoon?" Li Shuang says, 5 p.m. is when class ends. In that case, they couldn't all just stay in the classroom. This stage requires them to find the plot themselves, so it's best if they split up to look for clues. Class periods are too long, and besides breaks, there's very little free time left. But the scenario requires them to follow the preset plot. If they don't want to, they can only call in sick or break school rules. Ho Kang shook his head. "We don't have to be so rigid. What the scenario values is the player acting logically, following the plot's internal consistency. So if we want to find clues, skipping class is an option. We can either ask for leave or just cut. But if we ditch, we'll probably get punished or a warning. So we have to make our absence logically sound, giving the game no reason to hand out a penalty. In that case, let Truc Van go first." He suddenly stands up and raises his hand. The teacher gets angry. "Is the group in the back row done being noisy? If you keep this up, don't even bother coming to my class to disrupt it anymore. All right, you, the one who just stood up, answer the last question for me." Truc Van shakes his head. "I don't know." The teacher scolds him. "I knew you wouldn't know. You don't know, and you're not even paying attention." Truc Van retorts smartly, "If you knew I didn't know, then why did you call on me? Are you trying to ruin the class? Me talking by myself doesn't affect anyone, but you making me stand up like this affects the entire class. Then you'll say something, I'll say something. How is anyone else supposed to learn?" The teacher was furious. "In my entire life, I've never seen a student argue back like you. Get out. You're banned from my class for the rest of the month. Get ready to retake it." Truc Van dashed out the door. "Awesome. Thanks so much, teach." There. Has everyone figured out how to skip class without getting punished? Now that you know, be sure to use it. Ko Nin stood up. "All right, I guess it's my turn then? If Truc Van can do it, so can I." The teacher screamed. "Anyone else who dares to copy that last guy can expect a penalty." Ko Nin immediately chickened out. Never mind. We should probably just let Truc Van find the clues. I'll just wait here for those 3 bullies to show up." Sure enough, after class, those 3 bullies came looking for Conan, but this time, they brought a knife, scaring the crap out of him. "So now you're scared, huh? Weren't you scared last night when your noise kept me from sleeping? How about this morning when you stole my seat? How much money you got? Fork it all over, now," Ho Kong yelled from behind. "Damn it, we're all law students. How dare you pull this kind of blatant robbery?" Seeing that Ho Kong talked too much, the other 2 guys pinned him down and gave him a beating to shut his big mouth. Ko Nin cried and said, "If you want money, I'll give it to you. My family has nothing but money, but I don't have any on me today. Wait for me to go get it, and I'll give it to you later. Just don't bully me anymore, okay? The guy pressed the knife to Konin's throat and asked, "You really don't know why we're messing with you, do you?" Konin shook his head. "I honestly have no idea." The bully got pissed. "Damn it, stop playing dumb. It's because of you guys that I got punished. If the whole Tranfuang incident hadn't blown up so big, I would have killed you all a long time ago. Let me tell you, the Tranfuang business might be over, but things with you lot are far from finished." That guy barely hit him, and Gu Ning spat out his entire breakfast. It was so gross, the bullies just took off. "I'll let you off the hook for today. Tomorrow, I'm coming back for you and my money." Hu Kong rushed over to comfort Gu Ning. "Little Gu, you okay? Don't worry. Those guys are just NPCs. They can't actually hurt us." Gu Ning replied with a straight face. "I'm fine. I was just faking it to get some intel out of them. You must have realized it and played along with me, right? Letting those two guys beat you up to buy me time?" Hu Kang winced. "Was I supposed to admit they actually kicked my ass?" Hu Kong asked again. "Your acting was top-notch, but how'd you cry on cue?" "Oh, I just remembered my dad chasing me with a stick around our 10,000 square meter mansion as a kid. The tears just flow. So this is what rich people problems look like. Originally, I planned to just kick the crap out of them and then interrogate them for clues, just like Zhu Wen would. But this body of mine, I still need some work." Viewers commented. As expected of the first player trained by Zhu Wen, he's really starting to act like him. Looks like our boy is about to graduate. All right, let's go find Zhu Wen. We need to investigate what those three jerks were punished for, and also figure out who this Chen Fong person is. These have to be crucial clues. Hu Kong wondered, is this guy really Zhu Wen's successor? Or has he just been hanging around Zhu Wen for so long that it rubbed off on him? Back with Zhu Wen, he was currently tailing a guy in glasses. Key to the archive room computer requires a password to activate. The key holder, currently in the bathroom, seems to be from the student council. Perfect. I'll just wait for him to come out and enlighten me. So, Zhu Wen stood outside, waiting for the guy to finish his business. Damn, what's taking so long? Don't tell me he got his little buddy caught in the zipper. Zhu Wen kicked the stall door open. Whoa, speak of the devil. He actually did. The guy in glasses was trembling. Shaking, he cursed at Zhu Wen. Damn it, you distracted me. What are you doing here? Are you here to get revenge for that lowlife? Zhu Wen had no idea who he was talking about. The guy stammered. Who else could it be? Chen Fong, obviously. Just as he said that, the guy suddenly deflated like a balloon right in front of Zhu Wen. Holy crap, is a zipper fly really that powerful? It literally made him deflate like a balloon. Could these pants be a special item? After grabbing the key from his pocket, Zhu Wen tried to stuff the guy into his inventory, but it wouldn't let him. So you're an important NPC, huh? Just then, a familiar voice came from behind Zhu Wen. Suman was cozying up to some guy. She said, Senior, could you take me to the archive room to find a file? Later, I'll let you. Enjoy some things you've been craving. The guy blushed and said, You got it. I'll take you, but we absolutely can't let any teachers find out. Zhu Wen cleared his throat loudly. The two of them jumped. Who's there? Shuman was also confused. Why is he here? Suddenly, Shuman said to the senior, Senior, don't let him get near me. He used to bully me. I have to get rid of this Zhu Wen guy. I can't let him ruin my plans. The senior didn't seem very tough. Despite trying to threaten Zhu Wen, he still looked pretty scared. You don't come any closer, or I'll report you to the student council. Zhu Wen just snorted. There's another student council member in the bathroom, but unfortunately, he's already deflated. Want to go meet your colleague? After that, the senior led Shuman to the archive room to investigate clues. If she's also after the same thing, then Zhu Wen doesn't need to go in himself. That saves him some trouble. But wait, where did the deflated glasses guy go? He was lying right here just a second ago. Turns out, the guy flushed himself down the toilet. Seriously, dude? Why you gotta be so dramatic? I didn't even do anything to you. Just then, a team message from Gu Ning arrived for Zhu Wen. Zhu Wen, get to the classroom, quick, I've found a new clue. Zhu Wen was pretty pleased with Gu Ning. It seemed the kid was actually making some real progress. After giving Zhu Wen the rundown, Gu Ning was practically bursting with pride. Zhu Wen, praise me. Zhu Wen turned to Li Chang and Du Kai. Did you two find any clues? Du Kai explained. Earlier, we were dragged off by 3 girls. They were probably bullies too, but in the end, Li Chang led them to the bathroom and gave all 3 of them a beatdown. As for Zhu Wen, he shared his findings. I went to the archive room. I ran into a pretty weird guy. And these are his pants. Everyone stared at Zhu Wen with suspicion. Pants? So, you mean, you stripped some guy and brought his pants back? Don't get the wrong idea, it's not what you think. Okay, so we can confirm 2 clues right now. First, our characters in this game are completely despised by everyone. Second, our bullies have some kind of conflict with a girl named Chen Fang. Then, Zhu Wen asked Gu Ning, "Where did your childhood friend go? Do you know? You mean Shuman?" She probably went off to explore the storyline. By herself. Gu Ning sounded pretty unhappy with Shuman. This is a time for teamwork, and yet let's just split up and act individually. Let her do whatever she wants. But Truc Van immediately shook his head. I'm not leaving her alone. Clues can be stolen, and she's probably almost finished by now. Meanwhile, over with Huaman. Thanks so much, senior. I'm so happy. Praised by a pretty girl, the senior was over the moon. It's nothing, just a small favor. Go ahead and check if it's what you're looking for. But remember, you can only look, don't edit anything, okay? It'll be a huge pain if the teachers find out. Huaman pretended to sit on the senior's lap, saying, "Don't worry, I'm not an idiot, haha." What a bunch of idiots. They had no idea I already found a clue last night. There was a diary placed under my pillow. The diary detailed the players' identities and mentioned a female student named Tran Fuang and a male student named Gyang Qian. They are likely story NPCs and are compatriots of all the players. The diary was incomplete, only vaguely mentioning that something terrible related to Tran Fuang had happened a while ago. It caused Tran Fuang and Gyang Qian to move out of the dorms. But no big deal. I can now use the archive computer to search for clues about these two. But when Huaman pressed enter, the screen displayed no results found. What is this? Even students who get expelled are supposed to have their records kept. Could it be that you need special clearance to view this file? Well then, I'll have to try a different approach. Oh, that's right, senior. There's something I was hoping you could ask around about for me. Do you remember 2 people named Tran Fuang and Zhang Qian? The guy suddenly pushed Huaman away. What are you trying to pull? I'm already doing you a huge favor by letting you into the archive room. Don't push your luck and be so shameless. Then, he coldly unplugged the computer. Are you done searching? If not, go see a teacher tomorrow and ask for permission to access the archives. Huaman couldn't understand what had just happened. The moment she mentioned their names, his entire attitude shifted. It was like she had just cursed his ancestors. Maybe I should offer up a life? That Truc Van guy is not a normal person. Uncontrollable types like him are the most dangerous. Keeping him around is a massive disadvantage for me. I'll just use this diary to trick him into triggering a forbidden game mechanic and see if he's willing to sacrifice his teammates or his own life for a clue. That Konin guy's score is still really low. When we run into danger, I'll just shove him out as a human shield. As she was about to open the door, Huaman heard some arguing not too far away. What do you people want? Help me! Shut up and start talking! Sob. Do you want us to talk or shut up? Huaman peeked out to see what was going on, but the scene unfolding before her was absolutely terrifying. Truc Van was holding a knife, threatening the students there. Spill it. What happened to Tran Fuang? The girl replied, I don't know any Tran Fuang. The young man next to her said, trembling, what you're doing is against the rules. You'll be punished for this. Du Kai wondered, could we be on the wrong track? Should we try asking a different question? No need for that. Right now, we only need to verify 2 things. First, what is this punishment they're talking about, and does it have anything to do with us? Second, in this scenario, why did we, the players, have to use a Ouija board? What was the significance of us entering the graveyard during the seance last night? From the clue little Ko Nin found, it's certain that this Tran Fuang person is a key NPC. She is the most important lead we have at this stage. Hearing this, Ho Kong pulled out a vial of E-rank truth serum. In that case, let's cut to the chase. Let's just use an item to make these guys spill the intel. Go for a quick and decisive victory. Although this is just an E-rank item, it works for 15 minutes. It lowers the target's defenses and forces them to tell the truth. For some reason, after Ho Kong opened the vial, sure enough, everyone who got a whiff of it started telling the truth. They all started chanting, truth, truth, truth. I mean, it is a truth serum. After smelling it, they just kept repeating the word truth. This stuff really works. Then, Ho Kong suddenly continued, hey, boss, can you hurry up and approve that bonus you promised earlier? We're completely broke over here. Du Kai also confessed something. Actually, I'm the one who killed your potted plant by watering it with boiling water. The other student began to explain. You all are compatriots of Tran Fuang and Jiang Qian. They're best friends. You of all people should know why Tran Fuang hung herself, right? Why are you asking us? The school swept Tran Fuang's case under the rug, and the lowlifes who bullied her were already punished. Shouldn't that be the end of it? Why are you guys still clinging to it? Truc Van thought to himself while covering his ears. So the punishment is related to Tran Fuang, but why did she hang herself? Is Jiang Qian also a key character in this scenario? But it seemed Ho Kang's truth serum was starting to work a little too well. Ko Nin began his story. When I was little, I couldn't sleep one night. When I passed my parents' room, I saw my mom holding a Times, bleep Times, and doing something to my dad. Plus, they were all blurry, and there was even more Times bleep asterisk asterisk bleep asterisk asterisk bleep asterisk. Truc Van was left completely speechless after hearing that. In this group, only Truc Van could resist the truth serum. But Li Shuang? She was even more decisive. Before she lost control and spilled secrets, she decided to just knock herself out cold against a wall. Truc Van thought, this is getting out of hand. I might have to use the skip class card to get them out of this amusement park. And you bet that Ko Nin dude would have been the first to go. Luckily, after 15 minutes, the truth serum finally wore off. Truc Van carried Li Shuang and told everyone, let's head back to the dorm and get some rest. They still had to deal with a bunch of ghosts tonight. The audience was having a field day. Turns out Ko Nin had a ton of secrets. We're all adults here. Next time tell your stories with a little more flair. Soon enough, night fell. In Truc Van's room, the group gathered around an Ouija board. Nobody was sure how to get this thing started. The moment they touched it, all 5 of them, except for Huaman, were teleported to another place. They got here through the Ouija board, so it's probably some kind of illusion space. The graveyard last night was something similar. Looks like the events at the school are the main plot for this game. Things are starting to get a little spooky. So this is what college kids do after class now, huh? Play with Ouija boards. Meanwhile, Ko Nin was recalling Truc Van's earlier words. If you want to team up with me, you need to talk less and do more. Ah, I get it now. We fought our way out of that graveyard before. So, we just have to fight our way out of this too, right? Truc Van sighed. This kid hasn't learned a thing, and here I thought he was making progress. Suddenly, a bald thug with a messed up face yelled, "Scram, scram, scram. Where the hell did you guys come from? Don't block the road. If you're done eating, then get lost. Stop getting in the way." Ho Kang was confused. Huh? We haven't even eaten anything. What kind of messed up plot is this? Suddenly, a girl spoke up to the bald thug. Big brother Trong, please don't be like that. Look, they're not causing any trouble. Wait, isn't that the female corpse from the graveyard last night? The one we couldn't fit in the backpack? What is she doing here? The bald thug landed a hard slap across the blonde girl's face. Shut your mouth, you ugly hag. You don't have the right to speak here. It's time to pay up. Hand over the money now. The blonde girl held out a box with just a few coins in it, saying, this is all I have. Business has been slow. I haven't made much. I've only had these 5 customers all night. They each had 1 bowl of noodles, so I only have 25 coins. The bald guy pointed at Truc Van and said, I remember that kid eating 2 bowls, didn't he? Are you trying to rip me off? Truc Van shot back. The bowl was empty when I got here. How am I supposed to know how many were eaten? The bald guy exploded. Bullcrap. I saw him eat 2 whole bowls with my own eyes. You're gonna pay me for that second bowl today. As he spoke, he kicked a nearby table to pieces. If that kid won't admit he ate 2 bowls, then I'll just have to cut him open. We'll see if he ate 2 bowls then, Ho Kang thought to himself. Why is this bald guy so obsessed with the wonton noodle money? Could this be a key part of the plot? Ho Kang suggested. Let's walk around and ask a few questions. We might find some clues. But before Ho Kang could finish, the bald guy drew a blade and lunged at them. No money? Then I'll cut you open. Ho Kang drew his own blade to fight back. But after one clash, his weapon was sent flying. Damn, this guy's ridiculously strong. Truc Van sighed. So I guess talking it out is off the table, huh? Then I guess it's time to bring out a special item. From Truc Van's inventory space, countless wooden Hakona boxes appeared. They came with eerie giggles, whispering, come play with us. One of the thugs walked up and kicked a box. What the hell is this crap? This is so lame. You picked the wrong one. Your punishment is to come play with me. And just like that, the guy was sucked into the wooden box, his body twisted to fit perfectly inside. The bald leader freaked out, ordering his men, don't touch those damn boxes. Let's get the hell out of this freaky place. But then, the Hakona spirits crawled out of the boxes, grabbed the thugs, and dragged every last one of them inside. Soon, only the bald leader was left. If you've got any guts, fight me one-on-one. I'll kill any ghost that comes my way. I ain't afraid of ugly mugs like you. Is that so? Before the thug could finish, Truc Van decked him, breaking his nose. Blood sprayed everywhere. As the bald guy fell, Truc didn't hesitate for a second, pulling out his knife. And with a single thrust, he jammed the knife right into the thug's eye. The blonde girl was so horrified by the sight she immediately threw up. Conin's face went pale with fright. You actually did it? Bro Truc didn't this guy want to see how many wonton bowls I ate? I'll swallow his eye. That way, it can see the wontons from inside my stomach. According to the requirements of this scenario, logic establishes cause and effect. So tell me, doesn't my solution make perfect sense? Congratulations, player Truc for discovering a hidden plot breakthrough. Reward, 500 player points. Truc triggered a hidden objective. If the players clear the stage using this secret condition, the final rewards will get a 5% boost. Truc raised his hand. Hold on, I have a question. The MC quickly cut him off. Players, please try harder. All right then, have fun. She was dead set on not letting Truc ask a single question. Dude, Truc you're a genius. I thought you were just messing around. How did you know those bald dudes would trigger a hidden objective? Truc just scoffed. I didn't guess anything. They were just pissing me off. 2 minutes later, Hakua's wooden boxes returned, leaving only the little Hakua girl sitting there. She kept demanding praise from Truc Hurry up and praise me. Dukai was pretty curious about Truc item. Seems like a really useful tool, huh? Hokong clarified for him. That kid was the boss from the qualifying round. Truc tamed her. After opening the special reward, Truc approached the blonde girl and asked, Don't be scared, we're the good guys. I just want to ask you a few questions. Just tell us why they were targeting you, and I'll give these 25 coins back. Plus, I've got your back. You want revenge on someone? I'll go mess them up for you. You just saw what happened to that bald dude, right? There are tons of stalls in this market, but that guy didn't bother anyone else. He only picked a fight with you. And they were carrying a hidden objective. That means it's 100% certain this wonton stall owner is shady. The girl replied, It's because I don't have any boils on my face. That's why they bully me. I don't have any family here, and everyone else is scared of how I look, so no one ever helps me. It seems like in this place, where everyone has boils, her clear skin had completely flipped their standard of beauty on its head. The girl added, I'm saving up. Once I have enough money for college, I can finally get out of here. Truc asked her, What's your name? My name is Tran. The moment she said Tran, all 5 of them were teleported back to the school dorm. Huaman, who was already back in the dorm, asked them, Whoa, where the hell did you guys just pop out from? Turns out, it was because Huaman had touched a Ouija board, forcefully yanking them all back to the real world. Conin was pissed. Damn it, we were just about to get a crucial clue, and you made it vanish. Li Shuang glared at Huaman. Where have you been this whole time? Huaman pretended to drop the Ouija board. Sniffle, don't be like that. I didn't do it on purpose. I went out to investigate and found some info I wanted to share with you all. But when I got back, no one was here. I didn't know what to do. Then I saw this board, and the second I touched it, you all just appeared. I know you guys have it out for me, but I really didn't do it on purpose. I only teamed up with Conin to lower my score because I don't want to die. Conin scoffed. You don't want to die? You think I do? I can't believe you played me like that. Truc cut in, breaking the tension. That's enough. We're not asking about that. So, what did you find in the archives? I managed to find out that a friend of Tran in our scenario is named Jiang Qian. She went on to share a few other things she'd discovered, but Truc just shook his head and said, All of this intel is basically useless now. Huaman was shocked. Wait, you guys already knew all this? Well, I also found out one more thing. Tran is from our hometown. Conin cut in. But she's already left the dorm, right? We know all of that already. Huaman pulled out a diary. Then what about this? I bet you guys don't know the information about Tran that's in this journal. Huaman couldn't figure it out. Shouldn't I be the only one with intel on Tran? How did they find out? It must be that bastard, Truc He must have gotten it from interrogating other NPCs, and I threw away my dignity for nothing. It was so hard to get that info. And where did they even go just now? What place does that letterboard connect to? Did they get even more intel from it? After reading the journal, Truc said, This is all old news. Huaman was even more stunned. You mean, you guys have already figured out all the important stuff? Besides Tran there's also the stuff about Jiang Qian. This is my trump card. If I don't play it now, it'll be too late. I got a picture of Jiang Qian. I managed to get a position at the school. So yesterday afternoon, I found some group photos in the student council room. Jiang Qian used to be a member, so his picture was there. From left to right, the 4th one standing with the glasses. That's Jiang Qian. Truc Van was confused. So, times this times is Jiang Qian, but when I saw him this morning, he literally deflated like a balloon and went down the toilet. So Jiang Qian was the guy Truc Van pantsed? Huaman insisted. I'm not lying, that's him. The student council kids also said he was at school. Li Shuang took the photo from Truc Van's hand and said, she's probably not lying. This guy really is Jiang Qian. Maybe when you confronted him, he must have triggered some kind of mechanism. He wasn't supposed to meet players at that point. So, the game blocked the encounter to prevent any leaks. Truc Van was kicking himself. If I'd known that was Jiang Qian, I would've lit his balloon-like body on fire with a lighter. Who knows, we might have found a few game bugs that way. Truc Van told the group, let's go. We're eating. I'm starving. Can't fight on an empty stomach. Huaman asked again, so, can I come with you guys? I really want to help. Konin immediately shot her down. We will absolutely not trust you again. Don't even hope for it. But Truc Van said, fine, you can come along. Later, at the cafeteria, Konin whispered to Truc Van, hey Truc Van, are you really letting her tag along? Truc Van replied, what, you don't care about your childhood friend anymore? Besides, her info gathering skills are top-notch. We can totally use Huaman's strength to gather intel. It's not just us using her. She's also willing to trade all her info for someone's trust. She definitely has another motive. I just want to confirm what kind of game she's really trying to play. Du Kai spoke up. We still haven't figured out that message from the illusion. You guys want to go back and use the Ouija board again tonight? Truc Van said. The first night was a cemetery. The second was a night market. If we go there again, the scenery will probably change. It's useless to get stuck on the illusion. This school is the real world, and the illusion is just a projection of it. The key link between the illusion and reality is still that person, Tran Fuang. According to Li Shuang, the plot in the illusion doesn't necessarily have to match reality and needs a catalyst. Du Kai added, I feel like that bald guy's reason for messing with us was total BS. We were probably just a stepping stone, his target. From the start was always to bully Tran Fuang. Konin chimed in, huh? Tran Fuang? Who? The wonton shop lady is Tran Fuang? Both Du Kai and Truc Van were completely fed up. After all that talk, this kid still didn't get what they were talking about. Truc Van ruffled Konin's hair, sighing. We've still got players who are deaf in one ear, only hearing one side of the story. Just then, Huaman and Ho Kong returned with their food. The discussion continued as usual. Li Shuang said, once we find Jiang Qian, it'll be easy. We can use a bug to find items on him. Huaman was very curious. What's this bug you're talking about, Li Shuang? Truc Van explained simply. If you run into Jiang Qian, you just have to loot everything on him, then throw it into your inventory space. If any item can't be put in, then that item is a key item related to the game's plot. Whoa. You can do that? Thanks, Truc Van. I'll head to the student council later to ask about Jiang Qian. If I find a clue, I'll come back and tell you. Konin, having been tricked once, had lost all faith in Huaman. He scoffed. You've got some nerve saying that. So shameless. Truc Van gave a nod. All right, then we'll head to the second floor of the library to search for documents. A while later, at the library, Konin spoke up. I can log into the forum, but there are no posts. About Tran Fuang, Truc Van asked Li Shuang, have you memorized what Jiang Qian looks like? If so, go stand guard outside the library. Du Kai and Ho Kong are on the first floor. If we're lucky, we'll catch that Jiang Qian guy. Konin was curious what Truc Van posted on the forum to lure Jiang Qian out. Classmate, Trong Han Han, I've liked you for a long time. Let's meet at the main library gate at 8 p.m. tonight. So, it was a confession post. After an hour and a half, it had over 1,000 likes. Countless people had gathered to watch the drama unfold. Truc Van and Li Shuang had already blended into the crowd. Seriously, Li Shuang's vision was insane. In a crowd this big, she could tell there were a total of 92 people, and the number was still climbing. Truc Van was pretty curious. What exactly was this Li Shuang hiding? Why were her eyesight and mind so much sharper than a normal person's? A few guys started chatting. Heard some dude's gonna confess to Han Han, the student council president. Why hasn't anything happened yet? From above, Konin messaged Truc Van. Bro, I see the 3 jerks who were bullying me before. Guess who they're with? At the same time, Li Shuang beside him said, he's appeared. Over there. Just then, a furious Jiang Qian showed up. Who the hell posted that confession? If they dare to show up, I'll beat them to a pulp. Trying to pull a public confession stunt? This guy has a death wish, Li Shuang asked Truc Van. So, do we jump him, tie him up, loot him, or just kill him? Truc Van shook his head. No need. We'll follow him when he heads back to his dorm. We can definitely get more loot from his dorm than from what's on him. By the way, how were you so sure Jiang Qian would show up, Truc Van? Oh, it wasn't hard. I was scrolling the forum earlier and saw that dude. That guy commented on a post saying he wanted to pursue Han Han. Li Duong was shocked. Like, wait a minute, isn't this Jiang Qian, Tran Fuang's boyfriend? That's times where it gets juicy. Looks like the relationships here are getting complicated. A little later, at 8:30, Ho Kang told Truc Van, Dunai and I will hold off the 3 bullies. Dealing with Jiang Qian is up to you guys. Got it. Right then, Truc Van, Li Duong, and Ko Nin were already at room 302. So, do we just bust in, or what? Truc Van knocked and said, hello, security check. But there was no response. Guess we'll have to break the door down? Before Li Duong could even finish, Truc Van sent the door flying with one kick. And there was the jerk Jiang Qian, just eating noodles inside. So he was just ignoring us on purpose. Hello there, my name is Truc Van. We've met before, haven't we? The moment Jiang Qian saw Truc Van, he looked like he'd seen a ghost. He trembled and asked, you guys said you wouldn't contact me again? So why are you here? Suddenly, he clutched his head. I told you to stay away from anything related to Tran Fuang. Don't mention her name again. Why do you keep bringing her up? Suddenly, Jiang Qian got super agitated and actually dared to lunge forward and punch Truc Van. This dude has a serious death wish. It took Truc Van less than 2 seconds to dodge and lock the guy's arm up tight. Once Truc Van had him pinned, it was Li Duong and Ko Nin's turn. Quick, grab all of this guy's stuff. Truc Van figured this Jiang Qian dude must be a huge fan of Lam Qingying, the master ghostbuster, because his dorm was filled with stuff like talismans and old coins. Or maybe, are you scared of something? Like, say, a ghost. Or maybe you're just scared of Tran Fuang. Li Duong told Truc Van, I've tried everything. This is the only box that won't go into my inventory space. Inside was a crossbow and a single arrow. A weapon-type item. Huh? Jiang Qian freaked out. Hey, what are you doing? Don't touch that. It's an item to suppress a vengeful ghost that I got from some priests. If Truc Van's guess was right, the vengeful ghost Jiang Qian was yapping about had to be Tran Fuang. It wasn't exactly a huge leap. After all, in the first day's illusion, Tran Fuang had already turned into a zombie. The only thing was, the cause of her death was still a complete mystery. Oh, by the way, Ho Kang and I just roughed up those 3 bullies. They said Jiang Qian's girlfriend had her money stolen every month. But that scumbag Jiang Qian was such a good actor that she never had a clue he was the one robbing her. He just took the money and blew it all. So, Tran Fuang was in class all day and selling wonton noodles at night, just to make extra cash. And her trash boyfriend took it all? Suddenly, Truc Van's whole crew glared at Jiang Qian with pure disgust, like they wanted to kill this NPC on the spot. He lay on the floor and sneered. What's that? Got to do with me? She's the one who couldn't handle it and killed herself. Truc Van scoffed. If it really has nothing to do with you, then why the guilty conscience? You bought a ton of talismans, and even got a special item to fight off a vengeful ghost. Looks like that ghost is still clinging to you, huh? As he spoke, everyone suddenly went quiet, making Jiang Qian super curious. What are you all looking at behind me? When he turned around, the vengeful ghost he mentioned was right there. It's you again. You clung to me when you were alive, so why won't you let me go now that you're dead? Dunyai spoke up. That doesn't sound right. Those bullies told us you were the one constantly sweet-talking. Tran Fuang. So how did that become her clinging to you? What the hell do you guys know? She gave me the money willingly. I didn't do anything wrong. For an ugly thing like her, me even talking to her was a God-given honor. What right does she have to come back for revenge? If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have lost my scholarship. I wouldn't have been kicked out of the student council, and I wouldn't be facing this punishment. I had a bright future, and that ugly thing ruined it all. It's all Tran Fuang's fault. She's the one who wronged me, that disgusting creature. As he was ranting, the vengeful ghost grabbed him by the throat and asked, Hey Jiang Qian, am I pretty? Watching this scumbag get choked out by the vengeful ghost, not a single person in Truc Van's crew wanted to save him. A guy like him deserved to die. After she killed Jiang Qian, Ko Nin wondered if the ghost's vengeful energy would finally disappear now that she had her revenge. But the vengeful ghost of Tran Fuang didn't vanish at all. She turned to the players and said, All of you are accomplices. Then, suddenly, the vengeful ghost's body grew. Massive. That's right. You're accomplices. You all colluded with that bastard, Gyangqian, didn't you? Faced with this giant, vengeful ghost, Truc Van didn't hesitate to leap forward and attack. But just as Truc Van's foot was about to smash into the ghost's face, Li Duong urgently shouted for him to stop. Li Duong said, "There's something weird around this vengeful ghost. A lot of purple smoke is pouring out of her. It looks like she's being corroded. You absolutely cannot make physical contact with her, or else getting instantly corroded." Facing this deadly situation, Truc Van tells everyone, "We've only got one option left, the best of the 36 stratagems. Run for it." But even though they tried to make a break for it, that vengeful ghost just kept clinging to them. Truc Van then whipped out a rope and leaped straight down from the fifth, the side of the school building, then followed it up with a series of slick moves, firing his grappling hook into the wall. What was even more surprising was that this vengeful ghost ignored all the other players and was hell-bent on chasing only Truc Van. As for why it only targeting him, according to Li Suong, there were three possibilities. First, Truc Van was holding Trun Fuang's corpse. Second, Truc Van touched something belonging to Gyang Qian. And third, it was the arrow artifact in Truc Van's hand. Li Suong told, "Everyone, hurry, get downstairs and give Truc Van some backup." Ko Nin was confused. "Wait, isn't he climbing up?" "Right." Then, Truc Van was scrambling up the rope, but with its massive advantage, the vengeful ghost was already right on his tail. As it chased him, it kept screaming, "Accomplice! You are his accomplice!" Truc Van just scoffed. "I don't know why you think I'm his accomplice, but hey, I've still got a little gift for you." Turns out, the gift Truc Van had for the ghost was a giant statue summoned right out of his reported inventory space. Wait, isn't that the principal's statue from the school entrance? When the heck did Truc Van even shove that into his inventory? Ko Nin thought. So he really did go down. When did Truc Van and Li Zung get on the same wavelength? Seeing Ho Kong's confused look, Truc Van explained, "Earlier, when I got kicked out of class, I was bored. I thought this statue looked pretty badass, so I just kinda swiped it." Truc Van walked over to the statue and warned everyone, "Don't let your guard down. This vengeful ghost isn't dead yet." Sure enough, the vengeful ghost quickly broke free from the giant statue. It screamed the same old line, "You're his accomplices. You all have to die." Truc Van pulled out Gyang Qian's magic crossbow and fired an arrow straight through the ghost's body. As the vengeful ghost's body shattered, a pink notebook appeared from inside it. Li Zung gave Truc Van a knowing look. That arrow was meant for Trun Fuang, wasn't it? But hold on, did you just kill another important NPC? Truc Van didn't offer any explanation. Well, actually, he did. He sighed. "Why does this game always make me kill NPCs? This is such a pain." Do Kai didn't get it. "What do you mean? Again?" Ko Nin and Ho Kang both sighed. "Dude, it's a long story. Just roll with it. The vengeful ghost's corrosive power is gone. This is probably Trun Fuang's diary. The whole story must be inside here. Warning. Player Truc Van has destroyed a critical real-world NPC. The real-world exit has now been blocked. Players must find another route to clear the stage. Time remaining in this game is 2 hours and 38 minutes. 6 players remain in this stage. The real-world path is closed. But we haven't failed, which means there must be other ways out, like the illusion world path. Li Zung took out a Ouija board and said, "Everyone, gather round. We're heading into the illusion world." But Truc Van suddenly stopped. "Everyone, hold on. It's not time yet. We can't use it today. There's something else we need to do first." The next night, in a spot far from the school, 3 men spoke up. "You've got some serious nerve. Daring to meet us, guys. Out here alone at night." Huaman replied, "Guys, about Trun Fuang, I know you didn't mean for it to happen. I'm not like the others. I came here today to apologize. Can you please stop bullying me from now on?" One of the guys touched Huaman's face and said, "See, this one gets it. So what if that ugly bitch Trun Fuang took a bit of her money? Damn it, she even dared to report us to the advisor. I rewarded her with those 2 slaps. Not burning that ugly thing to death was me showing some respect to Jiang Qian." Huaman pretended to push his hand away, saying, "You're right. I can't believe she actually hanged herself in the student council room. I'm too scared to even go near the office now." Jiang Qian didn't want her anymore, so he gave her to us to play with, so we'd have his back at school. After the whole thing blew up, he just quit the student council. Talk about bad luck. We weren't even planning on doing much to her that day. At most, we would have just groped her a little. Who knew she'd scare herself and start screaming like she was being murdered? Right, little sis? The second they finished talking, Truc, Ko Nin, and Ho Kong appeared. Each grabbed a sack and slammed it over one of the scumbags' heads. Nice. These bags are a perfect fit. All right, let's deal with them. Hang him upside down from that tree first. Ko Nin glared at the trash in front of him with pure disgust. You scum deserve to die. This is still letting you off easy. The group then gathered again to strategize. Huaman said, "This afternoon, I was snooping around the student council. Turns out, quite a few other girls hang out with this crew. When Tran Fuang was bullied, she went to her guidance counselor. The counselor, just wanting to smooth things over, sent out a warning notice and left it at that. But for Tran Fuang, the bullying only got worse from then on." Li Shuang spoke up. "I already taught those guys a lesson. They needed a taste of their own medicine." In Tran Fuang's diary, she wanted to expose their actions, even in death. Truc Van asked Huaman, "Besides this, did you find anything else about the student council?" Huaman said, "That's all I found. I'm sure there's nothing else." "All right then, let's wrap up the mission here and bounce. Time for a new playground." As he spoke, Truc Van pulled out an Ouija board. In a flash, all 6 of them were back in the illusion space, once again at the night market. Just like last time, it was the same bald dude Truc Van had already killed. He was screaming at Tran Fuang, "Where the hell are our wontons? Hurry it up, you ugly freak." Ko Nin wondered, how is that bald guy alive again? The plot in this illusion must be twisted. We just need to find the real story within all these messed up choices. As he spoke, Truc Van took out the necklace, the very item he had dipped in a toilet during the last dungeon. Immediately, the illusion's scenery shifted once more. Now, the bald guys no longer had those weird pimples on their faces. They looked completely normal. On the other hand, it was Tran Fuang who was now covered in strange pimples. Suddenly, Truc Van grabbed Tran Fuang's arm and dragged her away. Then, Truc Van pushed Tran Fuang into a car and yelled for all the other players to get in, fast. The tiny car was crammed with 7 people like a can of sardines. The team yelled, "Truc Van, where the hell are you taking us?" Truc Van slammed his foot on the gas and said, "We're going back to the school. It's time to clear this stage." Behind them, a bald guy screamed, "Holy crap, are you stealing my car? I just bought it." Dukai was still confused. Why are we going back to the school? The Tran Fuang from the real world is a vengeful spirit who relentlessly haunts the school. But the Tran Fuang in this illusion said she wanted to save money for college, to escape this hellhole. Both versions of Tran Fuang are clearly obsessed with the school, so there's a huge chance the exit portal is located there. And to open that door, we have to fulfill Tran Fuang's wish, Ko Nin asked Truc Van. "I still don't get why that vengeful ghost kept calling us accomplices." Truc Van said nothing and just handed him Tran Fuang's diary. "Read this, and you'll get it." Tran Fuang spoke up. "Hey, why do you guys have my diary?" Truc Van told everyone to read the diary, but he was driving like he was racing someone to the emergency room. He was swerving left and right, not letting anyone sit still. Everyone was screaming, "Do you even know how to drive? I don't want to die in a car crash in a video game. That's so embarrassing." Ko Nin still tried his best to read the diary. It said that Tran Fuang was shamed for her appearance since she was a child, but she had the support of Jiang Qian and her friends, meaning us players. So, even though she was a loner, Tran Fuang kept trying to live on. But sadly, Jiang Qian was a total snake, hiding behind a nice facade. So in the end, Tran Fuang chose to hang herself at the door of the student council room, as if to get revenge on all the injustice. The reason she thinks we're accomplices is because we were her friends. We knew Tran Fuang was being humiliated, and we knew all the evil things Jiang Qian was doing, but not a single one of us helped her. The characters we're playing were probably just afraid of getting bullied themselves, so they didn't help Tran Fuang. People who stand by and watch in silence are just as bad as the ones doing the harm. No wonder Tran Fuang kept calling us accomplices. Long story short, Jiang Qian's dirty deeds were eventually exposed. He even stole Tran Fuang's thesis to apply for a scholarship. Under immense pressure from all sides, her spirit finally broke, which led her to the final choice of ending her own life. But wait, that's not right. If we really did nothing, then why did the bullies hate our group too? According to Li Shuang, their characters must have done something. After Tran Fuang died, like maybe exposing everything to the school, the bullies might have been punished. Jiang Qian was also pressured into leaving the student council, but by then, it was all too late. So Tran Fuang never knew. She died with an enormous grudge, becoming a vengeful spirit after death. And she'd see us as targets for her revenge. Ho Kong said, So our main quest is to help Tran Fuang fulfill her dying wish? As he drove, Truc Van said, "Wrong. What we need to do is send her off." Huaman was confused. "Didn't you already send her off in the real world, Truc Van? How else are we supposed to send her off? There's a difference between freeing someone from their suffering and sending them to their death. In the real world, we have to find a way to properly appease her spirit. Fuang let her spirit pass on peacefully. So, how are we supposed to send off the real-world Tran Fuang?" Ho Kang asked. "Damn it, Truc Van, you drove straight into the school gate. You call this knowing how to drive? We almost got reincarnated right then and there." "I just mixed up the brake and the gas a little. What's the big deal?" "All right, let's get out of the car." A security guard ran over, yelling, "What department are you from? Who's your supervising professor? You're destroying school property, you know that? And who the hell gave you permission to drive a car here?" Truc Van didn't answer, just quietly picked up a flower pot. Ko Nin prayed silently, hoping that guard was a fast runner. After bonking the guard on the head, Truc Van asked Tran Fuang, "What's your dorm room number?" Tran Fuang asked back, "Why do you want to know?" Truc Van said, "We need to find a bow and arrow. Have you seen one?" It was hard to tell if she was lying, but she quickly shook her head. "A bow and arrow? I don't know anything about that." Li Duong explained. "Only a bow and arrow can kill the real-world version of Tran Fuang. It's a no-brainer that the bow is the designated attack item for this stage. Usually, it's for taking out a specific monster. We have to find it to clear this stage." But Ho Kong was still puzzled. "So what does the bow have to do with this time's Tran Fuang? Shouldn't we be asking that Jiang Qian guy instead?" But Truc Van was dead set on his theory. "We just need to ask her, and we'll find out. Because she wants to get out of here, she's probably even found a way out already." In her diary she wrote, "Red 1, Blue 2. What does that mean?" Tran Fuang remained silent. "You definitely know what it means, right? Spit it out. Does this mean Tran Fuang is the gatekeeper between the real and virtual worlds on this stage?" Du Kai shook his head. "In the real world, Tran Fuang was already murdered. That break in the plot proves she isn't the gatekeeper. But based on Tran Fuang's attack power, we can guess the real gatekeeper is even stronger, not weaker. Plus, this virtual world gives a 5% bonus to accumulated points. The gatekeeper here has to be way tougher. If this Tran Fuang refuses to tell us where the bow is, then fine, we'll do it the old-fashioned way, tear this dorm apart." As they were heading out, a dorm mother suddenly blocked their path. Ho Kong stepped up to handle her. "Leave this to me. I'm a pro at this." "Ma'am, you don't recognize me? It's me, Little Ho, a sophomore." The dorm mom put her hands on her hips. "What? You're calling me ma'am? Buddy, you look older than I do." "But ma'am, I'm a sophomore. I enrolled in the law department, class of 2023, the woman shot back. "You think I can't count? It's only 2022, you old geezer." Ho Kang was shocked. "What? Does time flow differently in the virtual world than in reality?" Meanwhile, Dokai and Ko Nin were off on their own. It looked like Dokai had already knocked some poor guy out in his room. Suddenly, an NPC appeared, with an announcement. "Attention, players. A critical error has been detected in the game's inventory system following the last maintenance. We will now proceed with emergency maintenance. The inventory system will be offline for 2 hours and 3 minutes. Afterward, the game will lock all player inventories to ensure game balance. Players have 3 minutes to retrieve any items they might need." Li Duong asked anxiously, "We only have 3 minutes. What do we do?" 3 minutes is still time. Let's keep searching." Truc Van had Li Duong stay behind with Tran Fuang. He then went to search the room across the hall. The moment Truc Van left, Li Duong lost his patience, pulling a knife on Tran Fuang. "Tell me where the bow and arrow is, now. Warning, player Truc Van, please cease bug exploitation. Inventory maintenance will commence in 2 minutes and 21 seconds. Player Truc Van, please make wise use of your remaining time." After dumping a pile of stuff from his inventory, Truc Van challenged the NPC, ignoring the qualifiers. "Ever since round 1, the special mission board for my unique ID has been completely bugged. It's the same on this stage. My special privileges have completely vanished because of it. I might not use them, but I can't just not have times them. I demand a proper explanation from the game." The NPC completely ignored him. "Game inventory will commence maintenance in 56 seconds. Time's up. The inventory feature is now officially under maintenance." The female NPC kept staring at Truc Van curiously. "What are you looking at? Didn't you guys just say to take out all necessary items?" "He says that, but I have a feeling he's about to pull something. Something just feels off." Over the next 2 hours, the game will perform a 2-in-1 broadcast upgrade to the inventory system. During this period, Player inventories in all instances will be temporarily locked and unusable. The amusement park administration reserves all final rights regarding the outcome of this inventory upgrade. Furthermore, player Truc, despite warnings, has shown no remorse and has repeatedly exploited inventory bugs. This behavior severely undermines the balance of the game. After some deliberation, the game has decided to adjust the difficulty of this stage. Stage difficulty adjustment successful. The amusement park will not alter the scenery or character relationships for this stage, Truc scoffed. You don't want to change it, or you can't change it? It seems like since Tran is the core of this stage, you guys can't touch it, right? Looks like the theory about the scene core concept I discussed with Dong Hook wasn't wrong. But is the scene core for every one of your stages going to be an NPC? The GM still chose to ignore Truc probing questions. While the scene is under maintenance, the amusement park has decided to adjust the strength of some NPCs. Adjustment result. The difficulty of this stage has been increased from C+ to C+. Truc had to admit, these GMs have gotten a lot smarter. She's learned to dodge the question, not bothering to answer a single thing, Truc said. Furthermore, player Truc incited others to form a party to cheat. This behavior is extremely deceitful. The amusement park will temporarily raise player Truc hidden score. Be advised, after your hidden score is raised, player Truc will be sent to stages where the average score is 3,000 to 5,000 points higher than their own. Hearing this, Truc was thrilled. There's a perk like this? Thanks a bunch, guys. Announcement complete. We wish all players a fun time. Then, she vanished. Are all these GMs in cahoots? Did the last crew tell her not to answer any of my questions? Dukai burst through the door and said to Truc, we've got a problem. The NPCs downstairs are going berserk, probably because of that difficulty adjustment announcement. I knew a C+ stage wouldn't be without a tough fight, but this is a bit much. As he was speaking, Dukai suddenly froze. Right then, behind Truc, a zombie with a mutated body was lunging in for a surprise attack. Thanks to his quick reflexes, Dukai managed to shove Truc out of the way, dodging the monster's sharp claws. At the same time, Truc pulled her hand back, grabbing a vial of chemicals from the table and hurling it at the monster. With a loud bang, the plot of Teen 1. Monster's head exploded from the chemical reaction. Immediately after, its entire massive body was burned to cinders. By the flames, Truc let out a sigh of relief. Holy crap, that was terrifying. You nearly scared me to death. But Dukai replied, scared you? My ass. I feel like me saving you just now was totally unnecessary. Besides, where did you get this stuff? A special item. A liquid bomb? Truc answered, I don't know either. Basically, it's just some flammable chemicals. Back when the teacher kicked me out of class, I just swiped everything from the lab on my way out. Dukai looked at Truc with suspicion. The principal's statue and the chemicals. They came in handy. Why do I feel like you knew this would happen, and that's why you stole them? Oh, come on. Knew it would happen? I was just being prepared. Last time, I carelessly took a game component and got penalized for it. This time, I knowingly exploited a backpack glitch, so I knew for sure there'd be a punishment. I was just getting ready for it. Just then, Ko Nin ran to the door to report, Truc, all the staff and students in the school have turned into monsters. What do we do? Ho Kang and Hua Man showed up at the same time. It's horrible. The dorm matron suddenly mutated. She scared the living daylights out of me. Li Shuang also arrived, dragging the tied-up Tran Fuang with him. These NPCs would be manageable one-on-one, but there are just too many of them. Now they're all swarming the school grounds. It's turned into a school of the dead. Hearing this, Truc said, oh really? I heard. That movie still doesn't have a sequel. I've been waiting forever. Li Shuang shot back. Then you should switch to watching Game of Thrones. That one's already finished. The rest of the group couldn't believe these two. What kind of time was this to be joking around? Luckily, Truc had found the item they needed, a bow with 2 arrows. This is the designated attack item. The quantity in the real world and the illusionary world must be the same. But in the real world, we only saw 1 arrow left. If Tran Fuang hanged herself in front of the student council room, it's very likely Jiang Qian left 1 arrow there to suppress her. We never searched the student council room. Everyone's eyes turned to Hua Man, who had been in the student council room the whole time. She insisted, I never saw any arrow. I was just focused on finding people to gather intel. Li Shuang snorted. Whether you're hiding it or not, I'll know as soon as I search you. Faced with this, Hua Man also snorted. Humph. I was planning to save this for a critical moment. Suddenly, she pulled out a soul-luring bell from her ticket area, a B-rank item. Shaking it forcibly attracts all NPCs within a 10-meter radius. The effect lasts for 10 seconds. As the sound of the soul-luring bell rang out, dozens, even hundreds of zombies within range. Everything nearby was drawn in, charging straight for Truc's group. The moment Huaman saw them panicking from the blessed zombies breaking down the door, she took the chance to run. But what she didn't expect was that Truc's group was incredibly strong. From Li Xiong to Ho Kong, each one of them had their own skills. And as for Truc, well, let's just say he's an equal opportunity destroyer. One punch isn't enough, but two is overkill. Truc told them, if we don't clear out the zombies in this school, we'll never escape. Even if we open the door. Everyone, manage your stamina carefully. Once you're downstairs, lead the zombies to the 3rd floor, West Wing. The more zombies, the better. I'll be waiting for you there. Seeing Truc's smirk, Dokai had a feeling this guy was about to pull something crazy again. Ko Nin asked Truc, what if we run into Huaman on the stairs? Did she run away? Because she has an arrow? As Truc climbed over the railing, he said, no time to explain. If we take the stairs now, we won't make it, so just do it my way. It's faster. And just like that, before Ko Nin was even ready, the group tied her up and rappelled straight down, using ropes secured to the railing. If you didn't look closely, you'd think this was a Spider-Man movie. The second they hit the ground, they were swarmed by tons of zombies, at least 100 of them. Dokai said, charge straight through. Our goal is to lure them, not to fight to the death. Just try not to get hurt or caught. Ho Kong asked, do we need to, run 3 steps and look back? These zombies seem kinda brain dead. I'm worried they won't know how to chase us. Don't worry, except for chase stages, monsters in normal stages know how to seek advantages and avoid harm. So, if our goal is to pull aggro, we have to sell the act. Make them think they can actually fight back. Ho Kong was pretty surprised by Li Xiong. You've played tag with monsters before, huh? Wanna join my Kong's Heishon strategy squad? Li Xiong replied, twice, and I refuse. Huh? Did you have to shoot me down that fast? Meanwhile, up on the 3rd floor West Wing, Truc was facing a gigantic zombie. He was barely as tall as its leg. With a powerful leap, Truc kicked the massive zombie straight in the head, but this thing's strength was on a whole different level. One of its slams on the ground made the entire building shake, punching a huge hole straight through the floor. Truc had to dodge nimbly just to escape the monsters. Devastating blows. Viewers watching this insane combat were on the edge of their seats, genuinely worried for Truc's safety. Even Truc had to admit, this behemoth was huge, but incredibly agile. Then, we see Truc pull out his dagger and leap onto the massive monster's head. Asterisk. Stab. Asterisk. But who would have thought? The dagger couldn't even pierce its scalp. Is this thing's skin made of iron? How is it so damn tough? The monster furiously swung its arm, forcing Truc to jump off its head. He had already dealt with a ton of monsters on his way here. He never expected to run into a beast this tough. Could it be some kind of mutated monster? Next, the monster went on the offensive. It threw a roundhouse kick at Truc, forcing him to duck low to dodge. Its agility and power were off the charts. And on top of that, it had super sensitive hearing. Truc picked up a rock and threw it towards the door. On the right, the monster immediately threw a punch in that direction. It seems this monster is blind, relying entirely on its hearing to pinpoint targets. Truc used the same tactic again, grabbing handfuls of rocks and throwing them everywhere to distract it. At the same time, he held his breath, minimizing his heartbeat, so the monster completely lost track of his position. Then came a barrage of chemical vials, straight to its face, turning it into a giant roasted monster. Holy crap, look at that. If you could turn this into a firework, it would be a hell of a show. Too bad, the stash he liberated from the school was a little small. Truc also couldn't believe that after all those explosions, this thing wasn't dead yet. It was still strong enough to charge at him. As resilient as a damn cockroach. Or maybe this giant monster is like that vengeful ghost, Chen Fang. Immune to normal attacks? If that's the case, Truc could only rely on the crossbow in his hand. Asterisk splat, asterisk before the monster's arm could even touch Truc. An arrow pierced straight through its head. Asterisk thud. Asterisk. The monster collapsed to the ground. He finally took it down, but man, what a struggle. This means Truc only has one arrow left. In that case, he had to find a way to get that arrow from the witch, Huaman. At that moment, Ho Kong and Konin's group finally lured the monster horde to the location. "Hurry, Truc, we brought the monsters for you," Truc yelled down from the third floor. "Everyone, find cover, now. I'm about to light it up." Immediately after, boom, a wall of fire erupted. A massive inferno erupted, trapping all the monsters inside. As Truc landed, the entire west building was blown to smithereens. As a result, all the mutated faculty members were left lying in the rubble. Li Shuang handed Truc the rope binding Chen Fang, saying, "Gotta admit, that explosion of yours was seriously epic. So, what's our next move, Truc? Obviously, we clear the stage." Hu Kong asked again. "How do we clear it, Truc? Can you be more specific?" Truc replied, "Simple. We send Chen Fang on her way." The moment he finished speaking, Chen Fang, who was right next to him a second ago, vanished into thin air. Holy crap, what the hell was that? Where's Chen Fang? Then, the group heard another strange noise. What now? Are more monsters gonna pop out? Truc told them, "Let's move. Our path to clear the stage is now open." As they approached the newly appeared door, Konin suddenly asked, "Hey Truc, I haven't seen Huaman since we first lured the monsters." Truc replied, "Don't worry. If she wants to clear this stage, she has to come to this door." "Oh, I get it. So we're just gonna camp here and wait for her?" But just as Konin said that, bam! A giant axe came crashing down from the sky. Luckily, Truc was in the lead and reacted in time. If that had been Konin, he'd be respawning right about now. Immediately, two monsters, one red, one green, appeared by the door. What the hell is with this stage? If Hu Kong wasn't mistaken, these were the two gatekeeper bosses for this level. Their power was insane. Just a single swing of its weapon made the entire school shake. As the green monster attacked, Konin suddenly remembered something. "Truc, I remember now. Red 1, green 2. It was in Chen Fang's diary. It's the mechanic to kill these gatekeepers. The red monster needs 1 arrow, and the green one needs 2. But before Konin could finish, Truc had already fired a shot right into the green monster's head. A moment later, the green monster acted like nothing happened. It just pulled the arrow out, completely unharmed. "That's the wrong one, Truc. The red one takes 1 arrow." Konin was too busy shouting to notice the monster right beside him. Du Kai had to use her rope to pull him back to safety. Suddenly, Truc ran towards the door and said, "I didn't miss." Meanwhile, that snake Huaman was trying to sneak away. "This is my chance to escape while they're distracted by the monsters." But just as she was about to bolt, Truc rushed over and grabbed her. While they were struggling, the red monster slammed its massive hammer down on them. K-boom! It was another deafening explosion. The monster unleashed an incredibly powerful attack. But when the dust settled, Truc and Huaman were completely unscathed. "Looks like even you could sense this girl was hiding an arrow." Huh? Huaman was still being a total witch. "Let go of me. If you guys want to get yourselves killed, go do it on your own. Don't drag me into it." At this point, Truc and Huaman were in a tight spot. In front of them was the red monster with a hammer. Behind them, the green one was charging with an axe. Huaman screamed in terror, "I don't want to die. Let me go!" But Truc refused to release his grip. "I'll be fine, and if I do die, at least I'll have a meat shield to come with me." With things having come to this, Huaman could only reluctantly cough up the arrow she'd been hiding the entire time. As soon as he had the arrow, Truc raised his crossbow and asked, "Hey, Greenie, you already took 1 shot from me. Right now, the odds of dying are the same for both of you. So let me ask you a question. Which one of you wants to die first?" Hearing Truc question, both monsters fell silent, just staring at each other, unable to give an answer. "Come on, think about it. Randomly sacrifice one of you. Even if there's only one left, there's no way my entire team will clear the stage. So, either way, it's not a loss for you guys." An announcement rang out. "Teleportation gate closes in 1 minute. Players, please manage your time accordingly. Countdown initiated." Konin panicked. "We're running out of time. What do we do?" Truc raised the crossbow to the green monster. "So, you want to be the chosen one?" Then he turned to the red one. "Or would you rather be picked?" While threatening the two gatekeepers, Truc signaled for Li Shuang's group to make a run for it. And just like that, Li Shuang, Hu Kong, Konin, and Du Kai seized the opportunity and bolted straight for the teleportation gate. Seeing everyone run, Huaman tried to follow, but wouldn't you know it, she carelessly dropped the soul-guiding bell on the ground. Instantly, the two gatekeepers no longer cared about the threat of being killed. They hoisted their weapons and charged straight for the fleeing group. Hu Kong was almost sliced in two. If Du Kai hadn't yanked him back with her rope, he would have been toast. But the rescue cost her a precious second. As a result, she took a knee strike from the red monster. If that didn't break a bone, it was a serious injury. As Du Kai struggled to her feet, the green monster was already standing over her, and Huaman, as usual, was useless nearby. They needed a decoy to distract the monsters guarding the door, so she decided to shove Du Kai forward as bait for the gatekeepers. This move from Huaman pissed Truc off. He didn't run for the exit. Instead, he turned back towards the monsters to save Du Kai. The door was closing in just 10 seconds. Ho Kong and Li Shuang were freaking out behind them, one yelling for Du Kai, the other for Truc. The timer kept ticking down. Now only 8 seconds left on the clock. Now Truc had to choose. He had to kill one of the two monsters in front of him, and finally, he chose the blue one. Turns out, Truc had a plan all along. Meanwhile, that girl Huaman was still scrambling for the door. With 5 seconds left, Truc grabbed Du Kai's hand and just yeeted him. His strength was so insane that the throw sent Du Kai flying right past the fleeing Huaman. When Huaman looked back, she saw Truc perched on the hammer of the red monster. As it swung its hammer down, Truc used the momentum to launch himself, flying straight through the door with just 1 second to spare, and the fate for traitors like Huaman getting trapped inside with the red monster. The second Truc feet hit the ground, the portal officially slammed shut. Ho Kong cursed angrily. That witch is so damn shady. Du Kai was almost sacrificed just so she could run and save her own skin. Li Shuang scoffed. You reap what you sow. If she had just kept running without looking back guiltily, she might have actually escaped. Congratulations, lucky players, for completing the story mission. Hidden stage conditions met. Tran Fuang has been freed from her suffering. Beginning stage settlement. Player Truc ranks. First, he was the MVP of the entire round with a 93% contribution, earning 4,200 points. Congratulations, player. Truc accumulated over 60% contribution in this round, earning a special reward lottery ticket. Congratulations. Player Truc has received a B rank special item, the Endless Quiver. Its capacity is 10. After using all 10 arrows, it will regenerate 1 arrow every 20 minutes. Truc held up the so-called quiver and was like, "This is supposed to be an arrow? It looks more like a freaking toothpick." Continuing settlement. Player Ko Nin receives 3% contribution. Ko Nin was ecstatic. Holy crap, I contributed too. Was it for pretending to cry when I got bullied? Congratulations, players, for bringing a satisfying conclusion to the story. Exploration level, 12 out of 49. Each player is awarded 150 points. Settle, meant complete. Players will now exit the game. Truc immediately turned to Li Shuang again. That butterfly knife I lent you? I'll take it back now. Li Shuang took out the knife to return it. But weirdly, they both started pulling, one trying to take it, the other refusing to let go. Truc said, "If you don't want to give it back, then trade me another item for it." Li Shuang said she wanted to team up with him, but my next stage has a penalty. The difficulty score will be way higher than this one. Li Shuang just said, "Not scared." All right then. Truc stopped asking for the butterfly knife back. If Li Shuang held one of Truc items, they would automatically be on the same team in the next stage. Ko Nin wondered, is she after his knife? Or is she after the guy himself? So confusing. Du Kai also walked up to Truc to praise him. You're really just like, the rumors say, totally badass. Let's be friends. I'm Du Kai from Scout Team 0, a special unit established to deal with special players. We'd welcome you anytime. After that, Truc was teleported back to the real world. It was already evening. A look at the clock showed it was 9:26 p.m. Truc points had now reached about 15,000. Suddenly, his night vision dramatically improved. Could Li Shuang's insane observation skills also be from her high point total? Outside, Truc also met up with Ko Nin. But why was this kid's teleport point at Truc house? Sister Jiang. Lin wasn't too surprised to see her two little brothers return safely. You're back? What do you two want to eat? I'll go make it. After they got back, Ko Nin finally had a chance to ask, Hey, Truc I still don't get it. Where exactly did you send Tran Fuang? Truc answered that he didn't know. In reality, he had used the skip class card item on Tran Fuang. He never expected a game item could be used on an NPC. He just genuinely had no idea where Tran Fuang had been teleported to. This game's connection to reality was much stronger than Truc Van had thought. While Jiang Lin was cooking, she mentioned. Yesterday, our team leader went into the game. He led a team to ambush that Lam Kwok Dong guy you scared off before. Truc Van wasn't surprised. Someone from Echo Team got screwed over by Lam Kwok Dong, so Dong Hook going for revenge wasn't a shock. Oh, he also left a box for you on the table. Go on, open it, and see what's inside. Truc Van opened it, and inside was a small, blue, button-shaped item. Jiang Lin explained it was a rare, multi-person party item. The ring-shaped one you had before was just for 2 people. Didn't you say you wanted to form your own small team? With this, you can. Multiple people can enter a single stage in the playground now. But hey, the team leader specifically told you not to use it recklessly. Truc Van smiled, extremely satisfied with this item, just what he needed. But as for that warning, he couldn't make any promises. Meanwhile, Ko Nin was busy stocking up on a ton of food. The food in the game was awful, so he had to bring some just in case. Truc Van, on the other hand, turned on the TV to watch the news. In the last stage, he used the skip class card on Tran Phuong, so she should have been teleported to the real world. What would an NPC from the game even look like in the real world? Watching the recent news, he didn't see anything special mentioned. Could it be that Tran Phuong was never actually sent to the real world? Just then, his sister Jiang Lin handed Truc Van a picture. The photo on your nightstand is getting old. They have restoration technology now. Let me get it restored for you. The photo showed a young Truc Van, and, next to him, a blonde-haired person was patting his head. Ko Nin curiously asked Truc Van, "Who's that next to you?" "A childhood friend of mine," Truc Van said. He thought to himself, it was a good thing he just met Du Kai from Investigation Team 0. Maybe he should ask them to investigate Tran Phuong's case. Jiang Lin then asked, "So, what do you 2 boys want to eat?" "I'll go cook." But the moment she asked, the 2 boys suddenly vanished. Teleported back into the game already? Why so soon this time? Truc Van and Ko Nin were both transported to a forest somewhere. Ko Nin started crying. All that effort, preparing a mountain of food, and I didn't even get to put it in my backpack inventory. Just then, another guy appeared and said, "Where did this kid come from?" Crying his eyes out the second he gets in the game. "Don't go dragging everyone down later." Ko Nin shot back at the guy. "Do you even know what survival resources are? This is a forest. The plot could be all about survival skills. Do you have any idea how important food is?" The guy retorted. "If it's a survival game like you said, would the game even let you bring food in? Wouldn't that be a total freebie?" Hearing that, Ko Nin realized it made sense, and for a moment, he was speechless. The guy was actually pretty friendly. I didn't mean anything by it. It's just that I once had a teammate who did nothing but scream and cry the whole time. So, I'm a bit sensitive to whiners. My name's Tat Da. And you guys?" Ko Nin introduced himself. "And the person behind me is Mai." Before he could finish, the MC's voice cut in. "Welcome, all players, to the game Paradise. This round is a segmented storyline type. Players, please follow the instructions to progress the story and find the final answer. The average score of players in this stage is 19,340 points. Number of players participating in this stage, 60. Total time, 360 hours. 60 people? That's probably enough to build a whole tribe. Is this game nuts? A guided, segmented storyline with a ridiculously high number of players? If so, this round must be a nebula stage. This is the only game type where more than 50 players participate, and the round is split into multiple mini-games. The number and type of these mini-games are random, and players will be randomly grouped through a selection process in these mini-game rounds. Only by successfully passing and earning star coins can you passing Dan proceed to the next game round. Failure results in your ID being erased, but if you run out of star coins before the final round, it also counts as a game over. Truc Van praised him. "Ko Nin, you did your homework and memorized it well. Let's hope your practical skills are just as good." From a distance, Li Shuang ran over. "There you guys are." It seems the butterfly communication item worked, putting Li Shuang in the same game as Truc Van again. Li Shuang then asked, "What about this Ko Nin guy? How did he get into this instance without that Huaman girl carrying his score?" Truc Van explained it was because of a team-up item. From now on, he'll be with us. Tat Da was just realizing that these people all knew each other. But 3 acquaintances entering the same game? Is your team leader trying to play tug of war or something? Pulling 3 at once? Suddenly, the group heard a strange noise from a nearby bush. From inside, a small rabbit hopped out. "Greetings, I am the guide for this round. You may call me Puppy." "Huh? It's a rabbit, right? Why call it puppy? Born a rabbit but wants to be a dog? This game round will be deployed in a segmented format. A total of 60 players will be divided into 10 teams for another round of selection. I am your guide for this round. I will lead you to the trial grounds. Each player has a total of 3 chances to make a mistake. Once all the stars on a player's knuckle disappear, that player loses their right to participate and will have their ID erased. Next, players will answer questions at story progression checkpoints. Answering incorrectly will count as a foul, deducting 1 star from the player who answered wrong. As soon as Puppy finished speaking, the player's hands began to burn, and 3 star shapes appeared on their pinky knuckles. This team had a total of 6 people. That meant they had a maximum of 18 chances to answer. The prompt for this question is severely lacking. Players need to hit the one single winning move to get the full puzzle and activate the game's progress. Truc looked at the words on the ground. Too intimate? Is that it? Suddenly, this guy, Tat Da, burst forward. Let me. My idol cleared a stage just like this one before. This puzzle is a piece of cake, Ko Nin asked him. And just who is your idol? Who else but the one and only Truc, the guy who one-shot an NPC and holds the record for clearing the tutorial. Truc, standing right there, thought to himself, wait, is he talking about me? So, the fanboy decided to copy what Truc did in the tutorial. His answer, given. There are 60 explorers in the forest. Heh, I copied my idol's answer perfectly. Back then, he wrote given, the white rabbit has 100 lighters. I've got to tell everyone about this later. But the little dog announcer declared, incorrect answer. Player Tat Da loses 1 star. Tat Da was stunned. What the hell? How is that possible? Why was my answer wrong? I wrote down the solution that was, in the prompt, why'd you dock my points? Truc spoke up, telling Tat Da to step aside. Watch and learn. Then, Truc simply walked up to the words on the ground and stomped a few footprints on top of them. Congratulations. Player Truc has earned a victory point, advancing the story. Tat Da just couldn't process it. How did that work? You got a point, and I lost one? Truc began to explain. You used the wrong tool to answer. See, each word in the prompt has a footprint at the end of the last stroke. The hint was pretty obvious. We had to answer with our feet. Tat Da looked closer and had to admit, whoa, you're right. Kid, your observation skills aren't half bad. You're almost as good as my idol, the announcer continued. There were 60 explorers in the forest. They grew arrogant and conceited, believing they could conquer this place. But the forest grew angry. Now, the explorers must pass its trial to move forward. The story has begun. Everyone, follow me. With that, the little dog darted ahead. Li Shuang spoke up. That Tat Da guy didn't even notice the dog called you Truc by name. Should we let him know that you're, his actual idol? Truc shook his head. Nah, let's leave it. This is way more fun. And so, the 4 of them followed the little dog to see what was next in the story. Up ahead of the dog was a massive blue mirror. Here we are. 6 explorers enter Alice's mirror world, and Alice just loves to play hide and seek. Are you willing to play a game of hide and seek with Alice? If the explorers can win, Alice will let you all leave. This stage doesn't require everyone to participate. However, the more players that join, the lower the difficulty will be, but the points you earn for clearing it will also be lower. Naturally, the fewer the players, the higher the difficulty, and the higher the points. The other 2 members of Truc party showed up. One scratched his head. More people means lower difficulty? Are they trying to bait all of us into joining? The other guy was also hesitating. Should we go in? It'll be easier, but we'd be risking our stars. Truc didn't pressure them. He just asked, raise your hand if you want to join. If not, don't. Naturally, Ko Nin and Li Shuang were ready to go in with Truc All right, it's settled then. The 3 of us will go. The other 3, including Tat Da, will wait outside. As Truc was about to go, one of their teammates spoke up. Wait, take this. It's a blinding item. It can blind any living creature for 1 second. Cooldown is 5 minutes. 1 second duration, but unlimited uses. It's not much, but it's the least I can do to help. The other teammate also took something out. This is Ma Liang's magic brush. Whatever you draw comes to life. Its effectiveness depends on what you draw. It should be more than enough to mess with Alice's line of sight. Ko Nin happily accepted the item. Truc reassured the 2 of them. Don't worry, it's just a game of hide and seek. We'll be out of there in a flash. All right, we're heading in. You guys wait out here. Just as Truc was about to enter, Tat Da changed his mind. Hold on, I'm coming with you. Konin scoffed. What's this? Weren't you chickening out just a second ago? After all, 4 of them stepped through. The dog made an announcement. The time limit for this stage is 20 minutes. The countdown will begin 1 minute from now. Konin looked around at the mirrors and wondered, how are we supposed to play this? There are mirrors everywhere. I can't even tell which way is forward. Li Shuang shushed them. Quiet. I think I hear footsteps approaching. Truc Van closed his eyes, focusing. 8, 10, 12. The numbers don't add up. Why are there so many monsters in a game of hide and seek? There are way too many footsteps, and they're coming from every direction. It's hard to get a precise count. Just as the game officially began, the mirror right next to Li Shuang suddenly shattered. At the same time, a black monster leaped out to attack her, but Li Shuang was quick on the draw, pulling out her butterfly knife and stabbing the creature. But strangely, her blade passed right through its body. The ghost, but it went right through, as if its body was transparent. When Li Shuang looked back, she saw the ghost had slipped into the mirror behind her. Truc Van ran over and yelled to Li Shuang, "Quick, give me your hand." The moment Truc Van's hand touched Li Shuang's, the ghost shattered the mirror and lunged again, but it only hit thin air. Li Shuang had suddenly vanished without a trace. Tat Da watched this, completely stunned. What the hell just happened? Where'd that girl go? A notification popped up. Your teammate Truc Van has obtained player item. Li Shuang. Truc Van explained to Tat Da. This is a new inventory mechanic from the last maintenance update. Basically, you can't store an item that's determined to be in an active or attacking state. But on the other hand, a life form that willingly surrenders or is immobile is totally fair game. This meant they could store teammates inside their inventory space. Tat Da got it. He immediately turned to Konin and said, "Quick, get in my inventory and hide." And so, just before another ghost could strike, Konin successfully ducked into Tat Da's backpack to hide. Now, only 2 people, Truc Van and Tat Da, were left outside. Above them, more and more dark figures were appearing and attacking. While dodging the ghost's attacks, Truc Van ran up and kicked one of the mirrors. But strangely, his powerful kick didn't even leave a scratch, whereas the ghosts could shatter them with a single swipe. But as he went on, Truc Van discovered something. It looked like behind this area, there were no obstacles. Turns out, there was another space back here, although it was also swarming with ghosts. At least, there weren't any mirrors for them to hide in. So, Truc Van released Li Shuang again. Your turn. After Li Shuang came out, she in turn stored Truc Van in her inventory. Just like that, the 2 of them kept appearing and disappearing in front of the ghosts, leaving them completely helpless for the moment. The notifications Truc Van obtains player item Li Shuang, and player Li Shuang obtains player item Truc Van kept popping up. Over on the other side, Tat Da watched these pop-ups with envy. Damn, look at them go. Their coordination is flawless, unlike me over here, stuck with this meathead. So Tat Da had to dodge the ghost's attacks, while also trying to guide Konin. Hey, you idiot, can't you hear the footsteps of the ghosts getting closer? Konin was surprised. You can hear the ghost's footsteps now? Why did Mr. Truc Van tell me you were deaf? Tat Da retorted. I'm using artificial ears. Got it? Wait a sec. You called him times Mr. times Truc Van? But this is weird. We're standing right in front of them. Why did these ghosts stop attacking? He thought the ghosts were calling for a truce, but a second later, they got back up and started chasing Konin and Tat Da again. And so, the 2 of them had to start running for their lives again. In stark contrast to the 2 struggling guys, over here, Truc Van and Li Shuang were working in perfect sync. The moment Li Shuang was out of the backpack, she'd whip out her flashlight and blast the ghosts' faces, temporarily blinding them. Truc Van noticed the ghosts would flinch whenever the light hit them and told Li Shuang, "Quick, let me try the flashlight." Even though the blinding feature was on cooldown, it could still be used as a regular light. So when the ghosts charged, Truc Van shone the flashlight left, then right. The ghosts just attacked. Wherever Truc Van pointed the beam, he then directed the light onto other ghosts, making them turn on each other. A few seconds later, they all just dropped dead. Turns out, they could only perceive light and were attacking based on the light emitted from the players' bodies. After they regrouped with Konin and Tat Da, it seemed they were also luckily unharmed. It was only then that Tat Da realized the idol he admired was this very person in front of him. Truc Van told Konin, "Give me the paintbrush tool." Then, Truc Van started drawing something in the air. After he finished, Truc Van told, "Everyone, get ready to hold your breath." As soon as he finished speaking, a massive torrent of water appeared out of nowhere, like a flash flood. Meanwhile, outside the mirror, Truc Van's two teammates were getting worried. You think they're okay in there? But the puppy MC was still chilling. He had no idea Truc Van had completely wrecked everything inside. A few seconds later, a huge gush of water shot out of the blue mirror, sending the puppy MC flying. It was followed by the sight of a pile of dead ghosts, lying on the ground, and the mirror itself was also broken. Now this was the familiar sight viewers wanted to see from Truc Van. Tat Da got even more excited. As expected of my idol. The way you cleared this trial was just too damn impressive, Mr. Truc Van. But according to Li Shuang, it seemed the game wasn't over yet, because they still hadn't found Alice. Konin asked, why are we looking for Alice? If she catches us, don't we lose? Truc Van flipped his hair and said, the game said Alice likes to play hide and seek. It never said Alice was a ghost. Tat Da chimed in, the idol has spoken. Right. This game has two parts. First, the demons come to catch us. Second, we become the demons to catch Alice. That means this whole stage is a trap. If we just focus on escaping the demons, we'll all lose when the timer runs out. The other two teammates were worried. There are only 3 minutes left. Do you guys need any help? Truc Van took a hairpin, smashed a mirror, and said, no need to rush. Alice is hiding in the mirrors. If we smash them all, she'll have to come out. But Konin was confused. These mirrors are incredibly hard for players to destroy. Maybe only you, Truc Van, with your superhuman strength, could break them. We can't. Truc Van then summoned Hakona from his items. The moment the little girl appeared, she was overjoyed to see Truc Van, calling out, Truc Van, get to work, Hakona, she replied with an, okay, and got started. She collected the mirrors and put them into wooden boxes. Players themselves can't destroy the game's props. So, what if we use a game item to destroy another game item? We'll smash every mirror here, leaving just one as an escape route for Alice. Tat Da got totally hyped hearing this, ready to follow his idol's command. He then took out his own special item. He threw them towards the mirrors. With a boom, who knew a few simple playing cards could pack such a powerful punch? The puppy guide finally realized how serious the situation was. Hey, what do you guys think you're doing? You can't destroy the game props. This is the last mirror, isn't it? I wonder if Alice will have a home to go back to if we break this one. From that very mirror, a line of text appeared. Don't break it. I surrender. But Hakona suddenly ran over, sat on the mirror, and screamed, no surrendering. Who gave you permission to surrender, you little brat? Looks like Hakona has been influenced by Truc Van. I think Truc Van said the exact same thing to her once before. Suddenly, I feel really bad for Alice. Above them, a main MC appeared, confirming that this team had completed the first minigame. Whoa, hold on. Why is my stage completely wrecked? What the hell did you guys do? Meanwhile, Tat Da was taking out a notebook to jot things down. I have to record all of my idol's moves. I'll publish it as a book later. It's guaranteed to be a bestseller. Truc Van walked over to Tat Da and said, that deck of cards you used earlier is pretty interesting. Idol, you've really got a sharp eye. This is my special item. By drawing a card, I can get a random item. And the effect of each card I draw is different. Idol. Would you like to give it a try? No, you try. I'm begging you, please just try mine. Truc Van sighed and randomly drew a card. It was the bag card. That's it? Tat Da's eyes lit up, as expected of my idol. Of course, Truc Van wouldn't be interested in items like these. This guy's fanboying has driven him insane. Haha. Actually, my cards have many other uses. For example, when we're bored, we can play poker or something. Suddenly, Truc Van noticed a symbol on Tat Da's arm. The Roman numeral 1. It looked like the magician's symbol from the cards. He was also a special numbered player, just like Truc Van. Truc Van's number is the Roman numeral 6. The puppy guide angrily yelled at the players, I've never seen anyone play a game like you people. Now get the hell out of here. I'm not guiding you anymore. All of a sudden, Truc Van appeared before the puppy with a terrifyingly dark expression. What was that? You want us to get a new guide, is that it? The main MC above them continued the announcement. Players, please follow the guide MC to the next minigame scene. After that, the poor puppy's cries for help echoed out. The rabbit. Very quickly, the puppy led the group to the next minigame area. It looked sort of like a theme park on the roof of an amusement center. A black crow spoke up. Welcome, players, for passing the first round's minigame. I will be your guide MC for this round. 6 adventurers ran out from the forest and arrived at Alice's house. Alice, at this point, the crow seemed to forget its lines or something, and just stopped talking. Instead, its face twisted into an expression of pure shock. It stared intently at Truc on the ground. Warning. Unstable element detected. Has a history of dismantling stages and killing important NPCs. The previous stage's guide was beaten so badly by him he was hospitalized. The crow then suddenly started cussing in bird language. What's the point of playing anymore? We've got a dangerous element here. Let's just call it a day. Game over. Truc raised the crossbow in his hand. Good timing. I was looking to practice my bird shooting skills. You want to be my target? Whoa, friend. Let's be peaceful. Let's continue. Alice. She has 7 sisters, and they love to play kitchen together. But their parents never came home. They are very sad in their hearts and want some friendly adults to come and play with them. If the players can play one stage with them, they will agree to show you the way. They'll let the players pass to the next stage. Of course, if you continue to have fun with them, they will also be happy to entertain you. You can live happily ever after with them here. Truc spoke up. So, Alice and her sisters can guide us past this stage to the next one. If that's the case, then the guide MC is completely useless, isn't he? Hearing this, the crow freaked out. Chill, friend. Don't kill the crow. Crows are very useful. Crows are great. Alice's sisters are waiting for you up ahead. Players can just pick a room to get started. Looks like this is a split up to conquer kind of stage. Truc was worried about Ko-nin's situation. Would he be okay clearing a stage on his own? Ko-nin said he'd play. The kitchen game with the Alice sisters. Just making them happy should be enough to pass. Tet-da ruffled Ko-nin's hair, asking how someone with such a rock-bottom IQ even got to be near his idol, Truc. He gave him a hint. Remember what the crow said earlier. The players who live happily with them will have them happily stay here. Ah, I get it. So we have times to make all them unhappy. Otherwise, we'll be stuck here forever. Truc started moving inside and said, if you get it, then remember it well. Let's get started. Everyone, be careful. After all 6 of them stepped inside, they were met with a hallway with countless doors. From inside those doors, 6 identical little girls appeared. This must be the 7 Alice sisters. They told the players, come on, hurry up and play with us. Truc thought to himself, a corpse left out for 3 days isn't this pale. That face must have 2 tons of foundation. The crow said Alice had 7 sisters, but here, there are only 6. Looks like the other Alice is busy crying in the mirror world. Huh? All right then, the 6 of us will make this quick. As he said that, Truc and Li Xiong charged forward, each grabbing an Alice twin and pulling her into a room. Ko-nin was still outside, hesitating on which one to pick, because they all looked exactly the same. Well now, hurry and choose one. Oh brave explorer of the forest. Truc immediately shot back. Adults should let the children choose. I'm giving you first pick, kiddo. Hearing that, the little girl looked a bit annoyed. Fine. If I get to choose first, then don't you regret it. Let the game begin. The moment she finished speaking, the space around Truc and the girl dissolved and changed into a different scene. Immediately after, a blonde girl appeared, identical to the one in Truc childhood photo. What's wrong? Don't you remember me? We grew up together. Truc asked in a daze, are you Tren Chao? Suddenly, Truc ruffled Tren Chao's hair and said, how could I ever forget? Let's go to the cake shop. It's your birthday today, right? Every year, I'm the one who orders the cake and takes you to get it, aren't I? Tren Chao was overjoyed. Oh, Truc you're so good to me. The viewers were confused for a moment about who this girl who suddenly appeared was. Is Truc trapped in an illusion again? Is this another mental attack? Truc do you know? Every time you disappeared and got pulled into a game, I was always so worried. I felt like I was going crazy. Truc shook his head. You've got it wrong. It's the game times that should be worried. And every viewer had to agree. Yeah, the game should definitely be more worried than Truc Suddenly, Tran Shao stepped forward and said, when we were kids, it was always the 4 of us celebrating my birthday. You owe me a few years of birthdays, so you have to make it up to me. After dinner tonight, let's go up the mountain to see the night view. Truc agreed with Tran Chao. You're just like when you were little. Huh? Always loved sightseeing and never got tired of it. That's right, because it's so romantic. The silent night, the silver moonlight shining on the ground as if time itself has stopped, and everything belongs only to us. Every time I see the night view, I make a wish. If only the earth could stop spinning at this moment, that would be great. Then we could keep this moment forever, without any worries at all, just us. At this point, Truc suddenly cut Tren Chao off. You're right. But did you know the Earth's rotational speed at the equator is 465 meters per second? If the Earth suddenly stopped spinning, you do so, would be launched eastward at a speed of 465 meters per second. Plus, the atmosphere wouldn't stop just because the Earth did. So superstorms with speeds of 1,600 kilometers per hour would appear on the surface. Everything would be destroyed, let alone us being able to save. Any moment. After hearing this dense lecture, Tren Chao just froze. Then, Truc landed a solid kick, right in her stomach. This is your punishment for not studying, kiddo. Tren Chao's parents are both physics and science professors. Growing up, the books she read were all scientific papers. If you're going to bewitch someone, at least make it believable. This little scene of yours is full of holes. As expected of Truc I was worried he'd be enchanted, but it turns out he was just messing with the girl. Very quickly, the scene around Truc collapsed, and the little girl was left sitting on the ground, a sobbing mess. And just like that, Truc easily cleared the stage. Maybe after this, that girl will go sign up for an advanced physics course. Truc tried to leave, but realized the door wouldn't open. It was probably because the others weren't finished yet. In that case, since he had time to kill, Truc grabbed a nearby physics book and decided to give the girl a tutoring session. The little girl saw this and totally freaked out. All right now, sit down, kid. Let's start with longitude and latitude, shall we? Wah. No, I don't want to learn physics. Asterisk. Bam. Asterisk. Truc fist slammed into the wall right beside her, looking like it was about to crumble. Sorry, a fly passed by, and I accidentally crushed it. What was that you said, little girl? I didn't quite hear you. Sweating bullets? Oh, it's nothing. I was just saying I want to study physics. I really love physics. Truc cracked a smile. Now that's more like it. Kids are so easy to teach.